Many of you don't believe that these things will occur and are occurring right now at this very moment. So I will show you a few more things about our government and the camps that they have to enslave humanity, and also the brutality of police officers. Listen, look, and understand.
The fact that detention camps are being constructed inside our country and are now being staffed and readied for emergency situations, what can no longer be ignored or ridiculed as a conspiracy theory. Senate committee hearings and official Homeland Security documents further illustrate the mindset of our federal government as they classify homeschoolers, gun rights activists, constitutionalists, and returning veterans as potential terrorists. Classify homeschoolers, gun rights activists, constitutionalists, and returning veterans as potential terrorists, by default creating an entire nation of radicals and revolutionaries, where everyone is a suspect, equally guilty until proven otherwise. By default creating an entire nation of radicals and revolutionaries, where everyone is a suspect, equally guilty until proven otherwise. I'm Darren McBreen for InfoWars Nightly News.
The American Constitution and our rights are being trampled upon right now. If you don't believe me, check out this commercial and hear it from the horse's mouth.
Military Occupational Specialty Internment Resettlement Specialist. This MOS plays an integral role in providing a uniform system of handling prisoners and detainees. First and always, these MPs are combat support soldiers trained to fight, then also trained as internment resettlement specialists to control and supervise detainees to ensure their humane treatment and to assist them in returning to a productive life.
Slow it down for a minute. You see what they just released from that military institution? A U.S. military soldier. So the previous statements made in this video by Alex Jones' InfoWars channel stating that U.S. military troops returning home, people who homeschool their children, patriots, constitutionalists, and people who believe they have the right to bear arms will be considered as potential terrorists. But I want you to pay attention to this video and notice that in the commercial, there are not only people wearing U.S. military uniforms, there are also people dressed in regular street clothes, which are regular civilians.
For this job, the Army will train you to use specialized equipment to monitor activity, to conduct searches, and to inspect areas where prisoners work and live. Here, you'll train to in-process prisoners and detainees, and to brief them on their rights. In addition, you'll train to inventory and secure their property, take photographs and fingerprints, issue personal items, and assign cells. You'll train to conduct prisoner formations and roll calls, to monitor their exercise, recreation, and work areas, to prepare and maintain records, and develop written reports. After your initial entry training and advanced individual training, you'll work long hours, day or night, in a garrison or field environment, where you may practice emergency procedures, detect and confiscate contraband, and escort prisoners outside the facility. Serving in this MOS can help you transition from the military to the civilian employment sector. In the Military Police Corps, you'll be providing both combat support and law enforcement wherever you go, always upholding our motto, of the troops and for the troops. Military Occupational Specialty Internment Resettlement Specialist.
Some of the least noticed and least discussed changes in the law were the changes made to the Insurrection Act of 1807 and to Posse Comitatus by the Defense Authorization Act of 2007. These changes pose a threat to the survival of our republic by giving the President the power to declare martial law for as little reason as to restore public order. The 1807 Act severely restricted the President in his use of the military within the United States borders. And the Posse Comitatus Act of 1878 strengthened these restrictions with strict oversight by Congress. The new law allows the President to circumvent the restrictions of both laws. The Insurrection Act has now become the, quote, Enforcement of the Laws to Restore Public Order Act, close quote. This is hardly a title that suggests that the authors cared about or understood the nature of a constitutional republic. Now, martial law can be declared not just for insurrection, but also for natural disasters, public health reasons, terrorist attacks or incidents, or for the vague reason called other conditions. The President can call up the National Guard without congressional approval or the governor's approval, and even send these state guard troops into other states. The American Republic is in remnant status. The stage is set for our country eventually devolving into a military dictatorship, and few seem to care. These precedent-setting changes in the law are extremely dangerous and will change American jurisprudence forever if not revised. The beneficial results of our revolt against the King's abuses are about to be eliminated, and few members of Congress and few Americans are aware of the seriousness of the situation.
You naive people, you still think this is a game. Why they beating people into submission right in front of our face?
Leslie Donaldson's belly are still fresh.
To me, it was horrible.
It all happened during a fight between kids in a neighborhood in southwest Alachua County. One of them was Donaldson's son. She says she was trying to help.
It's trying to break up the fight, and me breaking up the fight.
That's when the sheriff's deputy showed up. He tased one of the boys fighting, then said he had to handle Donaldson.
She raised her arm at the deputy. The deputy felt threatened, like she was going to hit him potentially.
So he tased her. Sheriff's deputies say they used a taser just like this to tase Donaldson in her side and in her shoulder. Lieutenant Clark says when the deputy tased Donaldson, he couldn't tell she was 8 months pregnant. Even so, there's no policy against tasing an expectant mother. Donaldson was arrested for battery.
Charge! There's a warrant out for what? For changing my name. Look it up. What is that? I am not. Put your hand. I am not going with you. I object to this. This is not legal. You guys do not own me. I'm not your property. It's illegal. You're under arrest right now. For what? What charge? What is the charge? For what charge? What is the charge? Yes, it does. Do you have no compassion in your life? You're under arrest. What for? What is the charge? It matters to me. It's my life, and that is my wife. You're resisting. I am resisting your aggressions against me in favor that they are